Today, August 22nd, is the United Nations declared International Day for Victims of Violence based on religion or belief. I bring you warm greetings and a message of solace to families across the world that have been victims or have lost their loved ones to terror attack based on religion or belief. I remind all political leaders, governments and institutions across the world the need to make applicable in all jurisdictions the provisions of the United Nations Declaration on Elimination of all forms of intolerance and of discrimination based on religion or belief, made pursuant to the United Nations General Assembly Resolution 36/55, and that was passed with consensus on November 25, 1981. I also wish to elucidate everyone that as well as the spiritual and natural laws of the universe is concerned, there is one eternal law called the law of the privileged will, the LPW, which permit every man and woman to make their own choice, follow the belief of their own choice and conscience in accordance to their personal convictions and conscience, while acknowledging that in everything there is a recompense at the end, and that no right to freedom of belief, thought, or religion offers the right to violate the right of other persons. The limitations of the right of your human rights. The limitations of all human rights is the right of other persons and ega omnes principles of international law. The rights, human rights, international human rights law recognizes such right, particularly right to life, among others forms of right as non-derogable rights, which every human being is entitled to, or inherent in human being. The law of the privileged will, which came with the creation of humanity, is so important and vital that even God does not force a man against his own choice, thought, and belief. Neither does any belief or disbelief bother God, nor affect the superiority of God in any form. Man on his own is incomplete in his union with his fellow man for achievement of any task and for the strength to overcome difficulties in completing tasks. Just like electricity, man needs a union of positive and negative vibrations of humanity, that is man and woman, to form a synergy and complement each other for balance in accordance to the universal laws, which mathematically and vibrationally correspond in every texture. More than all, man needs alignment and union of his soul with the universal energy, the creative source of all things visible and invisible, God, in order to achieve sustainable development and end lasting victory against the measure of any personal belief, as belief and truth is not the same thing. Man cannot be complete without these combined synergies or energies. All beliefs, thoughts, and religions are good and allowed by God. The belief by man that his own religion is the only way to paradise or heaven, and therefore people do not share his own belief or consciousness are bound to hell and should be killed, is idiotic, and speak volume of the gravest incivility of man and lack of knowledge of the essence of God. According to American atom oral scientist and founder of the Mother Trust Supralife Foundation, Dr. Jesse Trust, in the book Lessons of the Inner Light, copyright 1954, page 4, paragraph 2, he says, all religions are good, such and all truths are good. However, too much knowledge, too much isms bewildered, but they all come finally to the simplicity that Christ taught, be like unto a little child. How does a little child vibrate? A little child is an epitome of gentility, humility, and overflowing love. So let every man and woman be like a little child, to strive against ego and extremism that brings strife and war, to pursue peace across the world, respect the belief of his fellow man, and know that all religions are good and allowed by God, that they're all different trunks such is leading to the same creative source, God, striving gradually in different degrees of consciousness and ages of development for the good of the human soul. Thank you for joining with us in this day of which the United Nations declared for the victims of violence based on religion or belief. This title of this presentation is the power of unity built by love and law against conflicts, built by belief system, and except on the United Nations declared day for the victims of violence based on religion or belief. Follow me at Cyprian Edward-Ekpo Dialectics and Treatise, available on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, and at https://www.unicel.education. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel for further presentation and lectures, and the Facebook page Cyprian Edward-Ekpo Dialectics and Treatise. Thank you. God bless you for joining with us.